Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here on my YouTube channel. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea, and it is an awesome honor and privilege, as it is every day, to have you, our international friends, gather around as we talk about our favorite things in the world, movies, movie news, TV, and streaming, and all sorts of good things. And guys, today is Thanksgiving in the United States. I want to say happy Thanksgiving to all of our community members who live in the United States or our expats living overseas. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Of course, we'll call it the American Thanksgiving. The real Thanksgiving's in October as a Canadian, just saying. But no, honestly, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And, you know, because it is Thanksgiving and because it is a big American holiday here, Ray and Kim have the day off. But I decided, you know what? There's probably still a lot of us international friends that want to get together and talk about stuff anyway. So here we are. We're going to do a show today. Now, today's show is going to be a little bit more laid back, a little bit more relaxed. And hello to everybody in the live chat saying, like Omar, Michael, MCU, Spymaster, Vince, everybody in the live chat who's saying hello and happy Turkey Day to everybody indeed. I know Ann is right now is out there getting the house ready. We've got family coming over today, friends and family coming over. We're going to have our big Thanksgiving Day thing. Ooh, can I tell you guys about something else that I'm pretty excited about today? Can I tell you about something else? Okay, number one, last night, I got to do what I very rarely got to do in Toronto, which was go to a Toronto Maple Leafs hockey game. Watch my Leafs put on a dominant performance and win. That was great, but I'll tell you something else. Very excited about this. Here's what I'm excited about. My computer is the backbone of my business, right? Like everything goes into my computer. My mics go into the computer. My monitors are attached to the computer. The cameras go into the computer. What streams this show out to the internet is my computer. My entire business is based on my computer, and I've been having some technical issues with it lately, and I realized, you know, my computer still feels like a brand new machine to me, but it's 3 years old. It was literally this month, it'll be 3 years ago that I got it. And when I got this new higher-end capture card to put into it, it couldn't quite handle it. And I'm like, yeah, it might be time to get a new machine. Now, you can't see it, but I got the box over there. You can't see it right now. But yesterday, my brand new computer got delivered. My first new computer in 3 years. I didn't go balls to the wall with it. Like, I ended up getting an AMD 5950X processor with 16 cores and 32 threads. My current one is an i9 8-core, so this is a big step up from that. I got 64 gigs of RAM, 4 terabytes of solid-state storage, which I'm really excited about that. I got the 3080 video card. I was thinking about the 3090, but I thought that was a little bit of overkill for what I needed. So, yes. Very, very happy about it. I got it from Newegg. Newegg was great. I just selected all my components, then told them, then paid for the assembly service, and they put it together for me, shipped it off. And today, later tonight, I'm going to actually swap out my old computer, get my new computer set up. So tomorrow's John Campea Show will be the first show with the new computer. I'm very excited about that. So I'm very thankful that I'm going to have a properly working, not 3-year-old machine running my show starting tomorrow. So I'm pretty happy about that. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys are going to spend today either relaxing, having a good time, maybe with friends, maybe some much needed alone time. Whatever it is you guys need on this holiday, I hope you guys get it. Okay, so here's how we're going to do today's show. We've only got one topic, like it is a Thanksgiving Day. We're only got one topic we're going to talk about, and then we're going to go and take your questions, and then we're swapping it around. Normally we take your live comments and then we do questions, but we're going to do questions first and then live comments. So if you want to fire in a comment, thought, or opinion about anything that we're going to talk about here today, simply use the super chat feature in the YouTube live chat. So if you're watching this show live, go ahead and use the super chat feature to send in a comment. We'll read that at the end of the show. Or if you want to send in a question, simply go down to the description of this video and you'll see a tip link. Just click on that there or enter it in manually at www.streamelements.com/movieblogtv/tip. You'll be getting your question read on this show or an upcoming companion video if we deem your question appropriate to use on our show. And of course, from everybody, you'll be supporting our channel at the same time, and all of us involved with the John Campea Show. Thank you guys very much for your support. Okay, guys, let's get things started here on this Thanksgiving. And we're going to start with one story that I thought was really interesting that I really want to talk about. And that's Arcane. So Arcane, you guys know if you've watched the show this week, Arcane was a show that kind of came out Oh, it's a prequel to a video game. Ooh, this is going to be great. So I had no interest in it. None. An animated prequel to a video game. Who gives a crap? I certainly didn't give a crap. No problem. Didn't give a crap at all. So I go over and somebody started writing in saying, John, I think you should really give Arcane a try. I'm like, all right, you know what? Whatever. During lunch, I'll pop on a first episode. Long and the short of it is this. I finished the final episode a couple of days ago, and I think it might be my favorite animated series of all time. I don't like to throw that phrase of all time around a lot, but I think this may now be my absolute favorite animated series ever. It is by far and easily the best video game adapted to screen story ever. Like this is, if this was a movie, it would be the best video game based movie of all time. It's a series, it's whatever, movie or TV, it's the best video game adapted narrative storytelling there has ever been. I mean, it's not even close. It's not even remotely close. It is everything else, and then there's Arcane. It's just that good. I cannot believe how good this series is. It's Game of Thrones in animated form. Every character has depth. Every character has an important part to play in the story. Every character has a great backstory. Every character has weird inner dynamics with other characters. The story is complex, yet told with great coherency. It's amazing. I love this series. And I also love hearing that, according to reports, Arcane is now the #1 digital original series with U.S. audiences. Now, there's some caveats in there. #1 digital original series with audiences. Let's take a look at something that Deadline wrote here. Arcane, Netflix's Arcane, a League of Legends prequel, is hitting a sweet spot with streaming audiences, according to a just out report from Parrot Analytics. During the last full week of data, November 13th to 19th, Arcane became the #1 digital original series with American audiences, Parrot claimed. That means it beat out such frontrunners as Stranger Things and Mandalorian. As of November 21st, Arcane, which has already been renewed for a second season, was the third most in-demand series in the world across all platforms. Globally, Arcane had 67.1 times more demand than the average show worldwide, trailing only Amazon Prime's original The Wheel of Time at 74.8 times the original other demand, and HBO's Game of Thrones. Yes, even though it's been off air for a couple of years now, it is still like the most in-demand show in the world. HBO's Game of Thrones is 70.7 times. So incredible, huge numbers for Arcane. #1 digital original series in the US, #3 across the entire planet. Now that's interesting. That's interesting. But the key thing here is that not that it's the #1 show for US digital original and #3 across the globe. It's why it's the #1 show here in the US. Here's something we've been talking about for a while. There's been a long-going debate of streaming fans between what is the better approach. The Netflix approach, which is when a season of TV comes out, you drop all the episodes at once. That's been the traditional Netflix approach, right? Once, season 2 of Daredevil came out, they just dropped every single episode. Once the new season of The Crown comes out, they drop every single episode. So is that, that's a binger's dream, right? And I consider myself a binger. So that's a binger's dream. So is that the better way to go about it? Or is the better way to go about it like the Disney Plus model and the more traditional model, which is release every week? Hulu has done kind of a mixture of things. They will drop the first 2 or 3 episodes and then they'll go weekly. Sometimes, Disney Plus just dropped the first 2 episodes of Hawkeye on the first day, and then they're going to go weekly. So what's the better approach? Dropping it all at once or spreading it out across weekly? And there are 2 different answers to that, and we've kind of touched on this before. As a binger, Obviously, we prefer all the episodes drop at once so we can just like tear right through it immediately, right? Like we kind of like that. That's fun. But the reality is, it's no longer disputable that the best thing for the show is to release week by week or adopt some kind of a weekly release model. It is not even up for debate anymore. You know, we talked about this before when it came to WandaVision, Mandalorian, things like that. Because here's what happens. A show drops. I remember this. Let's go back to Punisher Season 2 on Netflix, all right? This is just as an example. Punisher Season 2 on Netflix. The season drops. Everybody's excited. I love Season 2 of Punisher, by the way. The season drops. Everybody gets excited and everybody talks about it. And then a week later, nobody's talking about it anymore. It's done. Everybody's watched it, or they're watching it on their own now because everybody else is watching it, so they had nobody else to talk to about it. It's done. Because I remember talking about this, like the week after Punisher Season 2 had aired, nobody was talking about Punisher Season 2 anymore. Within 2 weeks of the last season of Stranger Things, everybody talked about Stranger Things for the first few days, but within about a week and a half after that, nobody was talking about Stranger Things anymore. Except for maybe, you know, what might they do in the next season, but that was it. It was done. Whereas you go and look at what happened with WandaVision, and we'll talk about how this ties directly into Arcane here. I'm going to show you how this all directly ties into Arcane. You go over and look at WandaVision. And what happened with WandaVision? WandaVision had a modest start. Like the season dropped, or the season premiered, first episode, I think they might have dropped the first 2 episodes in week 1. I can't remember, but they dropped the first episode or 2. And it had a decent audience, not huge though. But what happened? Everybody started to talk about it. Everybody who saw the first episode or 2 of WandaVision started talking about it. And next week, a new episode came. So week 2 came and another episode came, and now everybody's talking about it again. And now people who never saw the first episodes, they're hearing everybody talking like, really? So it's that good? They're like, yeah, okay, then maybe they watch it, they don't. But then the third week comes and another episode comes and everybody's talking about it again. Well, now that person down at the 7-Eleven, well, now I've been hearing everybody talk about this show for 3 weeks. Maybe I should check it out. And we're only a couple episodes behind. So they go and so they start watching. Now week 4 comes, another new episode. Everybody's talking about it again. Now somebody at the gas station up the road is like, well, now I've heard everybody talking about this thing for a month. For a month straight, everybody's talking about WandaVision. All right, maybe I'll give it a shot. And what you saw happen with WandaVision was week after week after week after week, the audience grew and grew and grew and grew to the point that by week like 6, it was the #1 show in the world. But it didn't start out like that, and it never would have got there had they just dropped all the episodes at once, because everybody would have watched it and buzzed about it for a week, and then the conversation stops. And all those people who started watching it because they heard others talking about it for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks straight, 2 months, they got on board with it, and you saw the growth more and more and more and more. That is exactly what happened with Arcane. Let's go back over to that article on Deadline. Listen to this. This is crazy. Audience demand for the show has grown exponentially since it debuted. The audience demand has grown 629% with global audiences and 228% with American audiences between when it started to November 21st, the last day of data available for this analysis. The show has a hybrid release schedule, dropping batches of 3 episodes, each on the last 3 Saturdays. Each on the last of the 3 Saturdays. Most Netflix, listen to this last line. Most Netflix series peak in demand after 2 to 4 days after being available before dropping off. Arcane grew in its demand worldwide 629% between when it first premiered to when the last batches of episodes came out. And normally Netflix shows their demand drops after 2 to 4 days. Guys, there's no more discussion about this. There's no more debate to be had. There is no real argument to be made that a dropping all the episodes at once is the best model. Oh, sure, once in a while, you're going to get lightning in a bottle with Squid Game, right? Like a show that nobody heard about, cared about, whatever. And it just caught lightning in a bottle and it went poof, viral around the world. Everybody had to watch Squid Game. Yes, once in every blue moon, you might get a Squid Game. That is, by the way, the #1 watch show on Netflix of all time. That'll happen. But we consistently see, whether it's with Falcon and Winter Soldier, whose audiences grew and grew and grew every single episode. Whether it's Mandalorian, that the audience grew and grew and grew every single episode. Whether it's WandaVision, where the audience for it grew and grew and grew every episode. And now we're at Arcane, where the demand for the show grew by over 600% from when it debuted to when it finally ended. When most shows lose their demand on Netflix after 3 to 4 days. There's just no more discussion to be had. The debate's done. The best way to release these things is week by week. And I'll tell you what, it's even better for us fans. It's better for us fans. Because yeah, while I get a kick, I certainly get a kick out of binging shows. I absolutely do. Get a huge kick out of binging these shows. I absolutely 100% do. But the reality is, it's way more fun for me as an audience member when Mandalorian's on and the episode comes out and we all get to talk and buzz and speculate and share our favorite parts of it or our least favorite parts of it, and we can talk about it. And then next week, we get to do it all over again. And then the week after that, we get to do that all over again. I mean, that's just, for me, as a member of a fan community, that's a far more fun approach. And instead of just talking about a show for a couple of days, when Mandalorian came out, we literally got to talk Mandalorian for 2 months. For 2 months straight, we got to talk about Mandalorian, right? And for me as a member of a fan community, I think that's a lot of fun and I love it. But I know a lot of people are going to have different, thoughts and opinions about that and all that kind of stuff. Question is for you guys on this Thanksgiving Day, for those of you joining us who aren't off at family functions because you're not living in the US or whatever, but on this Thanksgiving Day, what do you think about that? Are you now convinced that clearly the smartest way to release this stuff is by week to week? Or do you still feel that maybe the best way to do it is dropping all the episodes at once? What do you think? Do you believe, like I do, that within the next few years, maybe 3 to 4 years from now, Netflix is going to be all week to week releases? But who knows? Whatever you guys are thinking, jump down into the comments section below and leave your thoughts there. Okay, guys. With that down, let's now go over and start taking your questions. Now, again, I want to remind you guys, we're going to do things in a reverse order today. Today, we're going to do questions and then the comments that you guys are sending in. But right now, we're going to do the questions first today. And if any of you guys have any comments about any of the questions we're about to take, fire them in if you're watching live on the Super Chat. And we'll get to the questions, or we'll get to the comments after we're done the questions. Okay, I'm going to take a sip of my drink. And how is everybody doing on this Thanksgiving, by the way? All right, let's get in there. First up, we're going to start things here with Fabian Vegas, who writes, it looks like Spider-Man will be delayed in NL. I don't know what NL is. If anybody in the live chat can tell me what NL is, that would be great. That Spider-Man will be delayed in the NL due to COVID. There are new safety measures, and they will reevaluate these on the 3rd of December. The numbers are still going up daily. And so it'll be spoiled for me either way due to recommended videos. Yeah. Everybody's saying Netherlands. Oh, thank you, everybody. Some people are saying New Zealand, but I don't know how to pronounce Dash's name, but Netherlands. Some people are saying New Zealand. I think it's probably Netherlands. Yeah, so everybody's saying Netherlands or Holland. Okay, so the Netherlands. Well, that sucks. I hate hearing that cases are going up. I think right now in California where I am, cases continue to go down, more and more people getting vaccinated. Good stuff. I'm really sorry about that. And you know what, Fabian? The unfortunate reality is you're probably right. I don't think there's any way you're going to be able to avoid the entire plot spoiler. I don't know how you're going to avoid that. Not if you got to wait till like, when did you say it was going to come out? I think you said it was going to come out on the 3rd of December. Oh no, they'll reevaluate on the 3rd of December. Right. But everything that the movie's getting delayed, man, I hope you get it as soon as you can. And I hope things turn around in your country there as far as the pandemic goes. Thanks for sharing that, Fabian. All right. Next up, Carnell B writes, is it possible Disney Star Wars trilogy was purposefully not planned? Perhaps Kennedy wanted to keep the story open so it could be adjusted according to fan response. Hindsight, it's not ridiculous to think this may have been an executive decision. Thoughts? Yeah, that is possible. And it just highlights again that, listen, one of the big problems with Warner Brothers and DC years ago, not so much anymore, was they were too reactionary. It's like, okay, we got this plan. Oh, wait, some people didn't like this. Let's change our plan. And they were just reactionary. One of the reasons Disney and Marvel have been successful is because they're not reactionary. They've got a plan. They trust in their plan. They believe in their plan. They give themselves some flexibility to bend a little here and there. But for the most part, they don't let one reaction to one movie or one reaction to one thing totally dictate or alter what their plan is going to be or how they're going to handle their business. It was absolutely a conscious decision by Lucasfilm to not have a plan for the sequel trilogy. And that was a monumentally stupid decision. And you felt it. There's a reason why that the sequel trilogy dropped in quality as you went. The Force Awakens, to me, I don't care what anybody else says. The Force Awakens is a brilliant movie. It's excellent. I love that movie. It's my favorite Star Wars movie other than the original trilogy. I think it's great. But then you got into the second movie, into The Last Jedi. And I like The Last Jedi. I do. There's some things in The Last Jedi I really like, but there's also some things in The Last Jedi I really dislike. And you could start to feel in The Last Jedi the lack of a plan. It's like I'm starting to suspect they didn't think this out, right? Like I'm starting to suspect they did not think this out. By the time you get to The Rise of Skywalker, it had completely gone off the rails. Like Rise of Skywalker, which has its fans, and if you like Rise of Skywalker, awesome. I celebrate that. I'm not downing you at all. But for me personally, Rise of Skywalker was a train wreck. And every point, I did like a 40-minute video of this, dissecting everything that went wrong with The Rise of Skywalker. And at every one of the points, it all comes down to one thing: lack of a plan. This went wrong because there was no plan to start with. And then this went wrong because there was no plan to start with. And then that went wrong because there was no plan to start with. And if their motivation of not having a plan is, we want to be able to react to whatever the audience's responses are, then you're in the wrong business. If you're going to base everything that you do on a project by project basis based on what the audience response is, you're in the wrong business. Now, yeah, if you do like 3 movies and none of them are working, yeah, then you got to pay attention to that. But have a plan, believe in your plan, and then adjust if you need to later on. But that doesn't give you an excuse to not have a plan to start with. It's just laziness. It's just laziness. Have a plan, stick to your plan, adjust if you must, but at least start with a plan. And Lucasfilm didn't have a plan. And it became more and more painfully obvious as that series went on. All right, thanks a lot for sharing that. All right, next up, we've got Nehemiah, who writes, "Well, I love Man of Steel like you do, John. I love my Man of Steel. It's just, how you doing, Henry? Happy Thanksgiving, buddy." Henry's doing great. Henry says happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Anyway, "Well, I love Man of Steel like you do, John. Would you agree Zack Snyder was a bad choice for a Superman movie, and he seems better for a Batman based on the types of movies he makes, Watchmen, 300, etc. DCEU doesn't have a goal like Marvel. Why make a shared universe?" Well, no, they do have a goal. Look, no. The very fact that I think Man of Steel is so good, the very fact that I consider Man of Steel to be the most underrated comic book film of all time, and Zack Snyder is the director of that? Hell yes, Zack Snyder is the guy that should have directed Man of Steel. Zack Snyder and David Goyer made I think some really inspired decisions in Man of Steel that I don't think other filmmakers would have made, to be honest with you. And again, just like I said, I made like a 40-minute video dissecting everything that went wrong with The Rise of Skywalker. I also made like a half-hour video about why Man of Steel is so damn good. But you can go find that. But no, absolutely, Zack Snyder was the guy to direct that Superman movie. That I have no doubt about. All right, next up. Where are we at? Hayden Chilcote? I'm going to go with Chilcote. Right. Hey, John, I love the show. Thank you so much, Hayden. I was wondering if your speculation on Spider-Man possibly leaving the MCU had changed after the recent announcement of Marvel's animated Spider-Man show. Thanks and best wishes. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know what Hayden's talking about, at the D Plus Day, the Disney Plus Day, which should have been better, but at the Disney Plus Day, they made the announcement of the Spider-Man animated show about the early days of Peter Parker being in high school. Now, I had originally heard that was a totally separate thing. It's not connected to the MCU, but then the official synopsis came out to say, no. This is Tom Holland's Peter Parker, but a little bit younger when he was, in the earlier years in high school. And I'll tell you what, yeah, I still believe that Spider-Man is leaving the MCU, be it in Spider-Man No Way Home or in Doctor Strange 2. I think in one of those two movies, Spider-Man is exiting the MCU and going back over to Sony. I don't know that. That's what I believe is going to happen. And not much has shaken my belief in that. But that bit of news about the Spider-Man animated thing, yeah, that makes me go, oh, isn't that interesting? Because, that doesn't necessarily mean he's staying in the MCU. An animated thing is an animated thing, totally separate. But still, but no, I still believe he is leaving. But that, if you want to make an argument that he's staying, that is a good, solid piece of evidence to use in your argument. If you wanted to argue that Spider-Man is staying in the MCU after No Way Home and after Doctor Strange 2, that is a very good piece of evidence to use in your argument. So excellent. Well brought up, Hayden. Well brought up. All right, next up. We got 1.2 Jellowatts who writes, well, greetings and salutations, John. It's an awesome honor and privilege, as it is every day, to tune into you. Well, thank you so much, Jillowatts. My favorite movie pundit with Daily Show. Kimberly and Ray have been awesome additions. I love Kimberly and Ray being on the show, to be honest with you. And I'm glad you're finally getting some sponsors. Me too, dude. With that down and out of the way, let's get to my comment. Netflix released the live-action Cowboy Bebop. I thought it was wonderful. The music and aesthetic of the show was right out of the anime's world. Did you check it out yet? Thanks for bringing on the filthy. Nope, zero interest. I didn't like the trailer. I thought the trailer looked kind of lame. I have not heard great things. Honestly, Jellywatch, you're the first guy to write in to tell me. By the way, I just noticed that Jellywatch set in his questions. He sent in $50 tips, $100 of tips to send those in. Jellywatch, thank you so much, man. That's incredibly generous of you to support our channel on that level, dude. So a big tip of the proverbial hat to you, sir. Thank you so much for that, man. But I got to be honest with you. You're the first person I've talked that's wrote in to tell me that you really like the show. I've spoken to just a couple of people that said it was I'm just curious, you guys in the live chat, have you guys had a chance to start watching Cowboy Bebop? I'll just be honest with you. I just saw the trailer. I'm like, that doesn't look interesting. I love John Cho. I love him. But honestly, the show just didn't look that interesting, so I haven't checked it out yet. So I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying I haven't seen it. Let's see. Tom MCL is saying, no, it's not good. Leo is saying it's trash. Nikolai is saying it's awful. But then we got Frisky 2x Cosplay says they enjoyed it. Syrian said he only got up to episode 3. Padinsky is saying it was okay. Bobby Wasabi is saying it's horrific. So yeah, it's hard for me to get motivated, Jellowatts, to watch a show when, number one, it didn't look very good to me. Now listen, there have been lots of shows that didn't look good to me that I ended up loving. Harley Quinn, for example. But it's hard to get motivated to watch a show when, number one, it doesn't look all that good to me. And then number two, I'm not hearing the greatest things about it. But listen, the important thing here, Jellowatts, is that you liked it and you had a good time with it. And that's the only important thing there. So I'm glad you did, but I have not seen it, and I'm probably not going to watch it myself. But that's just that. All right. Anyway, again, Jello Watso, thank you for tipping in, dude, on that level and supporting our channel on that level. Me and everybody in the community, thank you for your support very, very much, man. And have a great Thanksgiving. All right. Next up, we go to Mumra, the Ever Living, who writes in, "Hey, John, you said you didn't like the ending of Afterlife as much as your friend." Yeah, Aaron liked the end of Ghostbusters Afterlife more than I did, but with your spoiler discussion being canceled, I was wondering if you could say why. Also, do you want another sequel or series after watching the end credits scene? I want to be careful about how much spoilery stuff I can get into. So, look, Sony revealed before the movie opened that Bill Murray, Ernie Hudson, and Dan Aykroyd were in the film, right? So that's not a spoiler anymore because Sony announced that. They waited to the last minute to announce it, but they announced it. To me, the ending of the film, without getting into too many details, because I know there's a bunch you haven't seen it yet, and you should go see it. You should go see it. Because it's great. Ghostbusters Afterlife is fantastic. It's a real, not as good as the original Ghostbusters, but it's a really, really fun time at the movies. Without going into details of revealing too much for people who haven't seen it, it just felt forced. Like when Bill Murray and Ernie Hudson and Dan Aykroyd show up, it's just kind of, oh, how convenient their timing. And it just kind of felt forced in there. And it didn't feel like it flowed with the narrative. But I'll tell you what, there are a lot of tears and a lot of eyes around the theater, including Aaron's. Like I'm sitting beside Aaron and they show up and I'm like, this seems kind of forced. But like Erin's got tears in her eyes, like when this is happening, right? So yeah, it depends. But listen, overall, I think the movie's a joy. The movie's an absolute joy overall. So yes, go out there and check it out if you get a chance, man. All right, next up, Lord Genome writes, "A little extreme, but one idea for stopping spoilers in YouTube chat would be a temporary members only chat. Spoiler trolls probably wouldn't pay to join your channel." I mean, yeah, that's true, except I don't have channel memberships. I'm not saying channel memberships are a bad tool. They may be great. I know a lot of other people utilize channel memberships. Rob uses channel memberships. I know a number of other, I know a lot of YouTube channels that use channel memberships. I've never done that personally, and I don't know that if I ever will, but I'll tell you what, Lord Genome, that's actually not a bad idea. I mean, if I did have channel memberships on my YouTube channel, saying that for the first 4 days after Spider-Man No Way Home comes out, the live chat would be exclusively only for people who are channel members. Well, then those people would be less likely to spoil things, giving away the big plot details in the live chat than average people would. So if I had channel memberships, that would be a great idea. But the problem is, the thing is, I don't do channel memberships. Maybe I will. And listen, if you guys think I should do channel memberships and you can think of some cool things I could do with it, by all means, email me and let me know your thoughts. But I just haven't thought to do that. That's all. All right. Thanks for the idea there, Lord Genome. That's good thinking. All right. Lord Genome also writes, "King Richard was great. Watch it on HBO Max. And not only was Will great, I could see John Bernthal getting an acting nomination as well. I know it's bad for the industry, but I'm going to miss getting all these great theatrical releases for free." Yeah, and listen, I haven't even seen King Richard yet because I refuse to watch it on HBO Max. You know, Erin's in it. Her husband Tom is in it. I want to go see this in a theater, but the Thursday that it opened, Ann and I were leaving to go to Vegas, and then we were in Vegas for 3 or 4 days. Then when we got back, we had commitments on the Monday. We had to see House of Gucci on Tuesday. Last night, we were in Los Angeles for the Toronto Maple Leafs hockey game. And so I haven't had a chance to see King Richard yet, even though I think it looks fantastic and it's got Aaron in it. And I'm not going to watch it on HBO Max. I am going to have a theatrical experience with that movie. So, but I better get on my damn horse and figure out a day I can get out to see it because it's getting kind of late. All right, next up. Anton Riley writes, "Hey, John, Kim, and Ray," and obviously Kim and Ray aren't here right now. "Have you seen King Richard yet? Just talking about that. Love that movie. Big Willie probably has another Oscar nomination in his future." I'll tell you what, Anton, everybody's saying that. Everybody's saying that Smith is amazing in this. He looked fantastic in the trailers, and a lot of people are giving him a lot of Oscar buzz right now. So we'll see how that goes. All right, Daniel Haygood writes, I don't carry respect for Ridley Scott anymore as a millennial. How effing stupid is he to bag on all younger viewers right before his movie starring millennial icon Lady freaking Gaga? I had tickets to it, but I'm not supporting this hack anymore. Well, I mean, here's what okay, first of all, Daniel, let me say this. I agree with you that it was an ass fuck stupid thing for Ridley Scott to come out and bash on the audience and blame the audience for his film not doing well. A film, The Last Duel, that, by the way, is a pretty good movie. It's a pretty good movie. There have got to be times, I get it, he's Ridley Scott. He's got Oscars on his mantle. I get it. He probably doesn't give a fuck anymore. But coming out, you got to learn when to keep your mouth shut. Everybody, me included, everybody's got to learn when is the time to talk and speak your mind, and when is it time to just shut the fuck up. Ridley Scott needs to learn that lesson. First of all, he's bashing on comic book movies. Then he comes out and blames the audience now he just starts to look like a bitter, jealous, cave dweller. And listen, I am a Ridley Scott fan. You guys know I'm a Ridley Scott fan. I love Ridley Scott. But it was damn stupid what he said. Coming out blaming the audience, they just don't want to learn anymore. They don't want to learn anything unless they're on their cell phones learning it. The millennial is just such a problem. It's like, dude, your movie didn't do well. Eat it and move forward. Your next one will do well. And if that one doesn't, just eat it and move forward. It was so dumb of him to do. Now, saying that I agree with you, Daniel, that it was an incredibly idiotic thing for him to say. You and I are 100% in alignment on that. I don't think the answer to that is cancel culture. I don't think the answer is, hey, Ridley Scott, you've given me 20 plus years of joyous, amazing film-going experiences. You gave me The Martian, you gave us Gladiator, you gave us Blade Runner, you gave us all these other, you've given us 30 years. Well, wait a minute, in an interview, you blamed millennials for a fair of one movie? That's it, you're dead to me now. Now you're dead to me. I don't know if that's the right response. And listen, I'll be honest with you. It's Thanksgiving, guys. It's a more casual, laid back, relaxed show. Can I open up with you guys? Let me open up to you guys. I live in constant fear that someday I will say inadvertently, maybe whatever, the most stupid thing. I say a lot of dumb things, but I mean like crossing a line, stupid things. That I may someday say something really stupid on air, maybe not even realize I said it, and then find out I get this entire backlash as a result of it. All I'm saying is that, yeah, Ridley Scott said something really dumb, but in the blind scales of justice, what he's given us over the years and blah, blah, blah. And then he said in one interview, he said something really dumb. Are we so sensitive that one really stupid comment made in one interview is enough for us to say, you're dead to me now? I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I'm comfortable with that. Like, I was really pissed off at Denis Villeneuve's comments. Remember when he was talking about, like, when he was bashing on comic book films and all that kind of stuff? Like, that was stupid, but I'm not going to say, well, now Denis Villeneuve's dead to me. So here's what I would suggest, Daniel Haygood, my film loving brother. I would say, take a breath for a second and think, does that one comment he made outweigh the decades of storytelling and entertainment and escapism that Ridley Scott has given us? Now, look, I'm not saying that gives everybody free rein to say anything stupid they want. more and more and more and more and more and over and over and over and over again. I'm not saying that, but like one comment, as idiotic as it was, and we should call them out for saying something that dumb. Absolutely. But is that worth canceling him over? I don't know. I would encourage you, my film loving brother, take a deep breath and maybe think about that a bit. But it was dumb. It was certainly dumb for him to say, no doubt about it. All right. Okay, next up. MD writes, Infinity War was released in a number of countries before the USA too. That is true. I remember your live chat being very panicked about it at the time. Feels like deja vu. I also remember people posting spoilers in random places like in Amazon reviews for Bears. Dude, I remember that. That's for those of you who don't remember, that's how crazy that was. Like when Infinity War came out, not only did you have to be careful on YouTube about people like putting their spoilers right in their thumbnails. And not only did you have to worry about Twitter or Facebook or Instagram posts, there were literally people going onto random products on Amazon and going to the customer review section and dropping big spoilers for Infinity War in the Amazon products. It was crazy. It was crazy. Yeah, that was nuts. That was nuts. And I fear we're going to get the same kind of thing now going with Spider-Man No Way Home. All right, next up. Alan writes, Hey, John, I love her Eternals. I love her Eternals too. I really like Eternals. Now I think we all need that X-Files type Marvel series with Darcy and Wu, but shown through the perspective of Karun and narrated by Kingo. You know what? I loved Karun in Eternals. I thought that was a great character. But he's not the same kind of character as Wu or Darcy. Like Darcy and Wu are the kind of characters you can make a show around. They could be, like a lot of us have wanted that X-Files kind of series in the MCU with those two characters. That would be great. As much as I love Karun there as an ensemble player, as a background character there, I don't think he could carry that film, but I do love Karun. I loved him in that movie. Thank you, Sa. I loved him. Every time he would say sir when he's talking to someone, it made my heart smile. That character makes my heart smile. Anyway, next up, Anonymous writes, with all the major entertainment channels discussing the Toby and Andrew rumor, is it crazy to be convinced Sony wouldn't have let a rumor such as that hype up the movie like this with it not being true? That to me may be approaching false advertising line. Nope, that's not true at all. It is not a studio's responsibility to respond to rumors. Okay? Let me say that again. It is not the responsibility of a studio to run out there and respond to rumors. Because here's what'll happen if they do. If Gus's gas station movie reviews.fart decides to put out a rumor that, guess what, guys? Christian Bale is going to be in Spider-Man No Way Home as Batman. So Gus's gas station movie reviews.fart puts this out saying, I've got inside sources that have confirmed to me, Gus, at Gus's gas station movie reviews.fart, that Christian Bale is appearing in that movie as Batman. And it starts to spread around. Here's what'll happen. If Sony responds to that and comes out and says, guys, listen, we know there's a rumor going around that Christian Bale is going to be in this movie as Batman. We can categorically tell you that that's not true. What you have now done, if you're Sony, is gotten every Gus's gas station movie review.fart website out there going, ooh, if I make up some shit, Sony itself will respond to me and it'll become a game. Everybody will be cranking out bullshit just to see if Sony will respond to them. It'll make them feel validated, make them feel important, right? If you as a studio start going out there and responding to rumors, then which rumors do you respond to and which rumors don't you respond to? If you start responding to rumors, you're gonna have to hire a full-time department that just spends their whole day responding to rumors. And then on top of that, if you respond to enough rumors, you're starting to form a picture about what the movie's actually going to have. Okay, let's start a rumor that Aunt May dies in this movie. Okay, Gus's gas station movie reviews.fart. We here at Gus's gas station hear that Aunt May dies in Spider-Man No Way Home. Okay, now what's Sony supposed to do? Are they supposed to respond to that rumor or not? And if they respond to it and say, no, we can tell you that Aunt May doesn't die in the movie. Well, is that then a spoiler in and of itself? And now it's narrowed it down for the audience. Okay, now we know Aunt May doesn't die in the movie. All right, we at Gus's Gas Station Movie Reviews now hear that Ned dies in the third act of the movie. Well, is Sony supposed to respond to that? And if they do respond to that, then all of a sudden, you know, Eric's moisturizing ball cream movie reviews .hippie. I can't remember the last time I used the word hippie. What does that even mean? Anyway, yeah, what did I say? Eric's moisturizing ball cream.net decides, oh, hey, Gus got official responses from Sony. I'm going to make some stuff up too. Okay, we here at Eric's moisturizing ball cream.net have officially heard that Tony Stark returns. So where does it stop? It's kind of like the whole thing about countries saying they don't negotiate with terrorists, because if you negotiate with a terrorist, that just encourages other terrorists to do stuff because you negotiate with them. So no, it is not the studio's responsibility to respond to rumors. That's just it. So if Toby and Andrew are not in this movie, and that is still a possibility that nobody believes that, but the reality is it is still a possibility that Toby and Andrew are not in this movie. And if they're not, that ain't Sony's fault that everybody believed that was. That's the fan community that got away with itself, and it's not Sony's responsibility to police the fan community. We got to police ourselves. Anyway, that's just my thought. All right, next up. Let's see. Diego writes, it's kind of fucked up that Andrew Garfield just gave his best performance of his career in Tick, Tick, Boom, and everyone keeps asking him about Spider-Man. In all seriousness, I hope he wins all the awards. I mean, it's too early to call for that because there's going to be a lot of, look, Will Smith, a lot of people think Will Smith's performance was better. There are more performances to come between now and the end of the year. I mean, it's too early to say he should win awards. Let's wait till all the movies come out first. But I did think about that the other day. He's given maybe the performance of his life, and all anybody wants to talk to him about is Spider-Man. It's to be understood, though. It's part of the business. All right, Xavier Prime writes, 1 of 2. I feel like The Last Duel looked great on paper and had a great cast. When I saw Adam Driver in the trailer, I believed him. However, when I saw Damon and Affleck, they looked ridiculous to me. They are great actors, and I'm sure the movie is great, but I laughed when I saw the mullet and the blonde hair. I did plan to see it, but it was in and out before I had a chance. Unfortunately, keep up the great work, team. I mean, I don't know. Listen, that could be true too. Like, some people will rush out and see a movie if certain actors are in it, and some people will avoid certain movies if certain actors are in it. I mean, there's that. What I can tell you is this, though. Damon and Affleck are great in that movie. Like, they're not good in the movie. They're great in the movie. And what's really weird too is that the dynamic between Ben Affleck's character and Adam Driver's character that had this total like bromance going on in the movie is some of the highlights of the film. It really is. And I know it's weird seeing Ben Affleck look like that with the blonde-dyed hair and all this kind of stuff, but I'm telling you, they're both really, really good in this movie. So there's that. Again, I had issues with the film, but overall, I thought they were great in it. Okay, next up. Bob Chapek writes, guess who's eating ketchup on eggs? Hashtag keep my name out of your mouth, from Bob Chapek. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, Ray and I have a bet. I am betting that on Monday, November 29th, the day that tickets go on sale for Spider-Man No Way Home, and it just so happens there's Monday Night Football that night. Monday Night Football, that Disney and Marvel have dropped big trailers, and Star Wars have dropped big trailers on Monday Night Football before. I believe that they're going to drop a new spot for Spider-Man No Way Home. I believe you're going to see Andrew and Toby in it. And I believe that trailer is going to end with the words, tickets on sale now. And I believe it will crumble the internet, and they will sell all the tickets. Again, I'm afraid what you heard me say was that they will sell a lot of tickets. What I actually said was they will sell all the tickets. All the tickets. So Ray and I now have a bet. If there is no new spot on the 29th, then Ray is going to make me a dish of ketchup on eggs, and I got to eat it on the show. And I'm not going to lie to you, straight up serious. You may see me vomit. I'm going to have to keep a bucket beside my thing. I might straight up vomit. I get my gag reflex triggers just even thinking about it. So there's that. Now, so if there's no new spot on Monday, I got to eat a plate of ketchup on eggs right here live on the show. If there is a new spot and it shows Toby and Andrew, then the next day Ray is going to wear a ballerina's tutu while we're doing the show. If there is a new spot and it doesn't have Toby and Andrew in it, Ray and I are going to call it a draw. So that is the bet. That is the bet. We'll see how it goes, man. We'll see how it goes. All right. Garden Variety Vagabond writes, one of two. John, on the topic of cinema attendance, I want so much to watch all movies in the cinema, but I also look at the cost of food in the math. When I go to the cinema, I like to get food and drink, which in Boston puts the viewing at $50. So I remind myself that I used to watch many films on VHS/DVD if the movie isn't cinematic. Hate to say it, but your review of The Last Duel kept me from seeing it in theaters as that structure really hit me as a poor cinema experience. Now, listen, going to a movie is an investment of two things. It's an investment of money, and it's an investment of your time. Now, look, you don't need to go to the movie theater and spend $50. Ann and I just went to the movies and we dropped, I think, $10. We got a drink and a small candy, whatever. We dropped $10, $12. You don't have to go to the movies and drop $50. Especially if you get like AMC A-List or Regal Unlimited, then you're really golden. But you don't have to spend that much. If you want to go and buy all that food, yeah, it might be a little expensive. Either way, though, when you go to the movies, you are investing time and you're investing money. That's why I believe movie critics are so important. Like I told you at the beginning of the show, I just bought a new computer, right? Just bought a new computer. I can't wait to set it up later today. But that was a big investment. Do you think I was going to drop that kind of money? Do you think I was going to invest in that machine without going online and reading what either, I don't know, what IGN or what The Verge or what Engadget is saying about that machine and the components that I bought? How is it well reviewed? How did it compare to others? Of course I am, because if I'm going to make an investment, I'm going to make an informed investment. And if you're thinking about going to a movie and investing your time, which you never get back, and investing a little bit of your money, yeah, you should check out to see what some critics are saying about it, just to get an idea. Not necessarily that you'll agree or disagree with the critics, but just to get an idea of what you're in for and evaluate if you think it's going to be something that you enjoy. Don't just rely on trailers, because trailers are marketing tools made by the corporation with the express intent of getting your money from you. And I love movie trailers, but I always shake my head and say the only thing I base my decision on whether I see a movie is the trailer. Really? A piece of content that is designed to be manipulative to get you to give them your money. That's the one thing you're going to base your decision on, is the people who stand to take your money from you making a piece of content, and their entire motivation for making this piece of content and their guiding North Star is to make it as manipulating as possible to get you to give them your money. Trailers are great. I love trailers, but never make trailers the only basis on which whether you see something or not, because it's being given to you by the people who are trying to take your money. Listen to people. Go at least give an ear to the people who have nothing to gain about whether you go see the movie or not. Like when I talk about The Last Duel, I say, hey, I think this is a good movie, great performances, great story. However, the way they structured their story with going back and telling it from 3 different points of view, it didn't really work for me on that level. But overall, I still thought it was good, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? I don't get 1 penny if you go see the movie or if you don't. I don't care. I could care less if you go see The Last Duel. You know what I mean? Because I don't get anything if you go. I don't get anything if you don't go. I have absolutely nothing to gain. So I'm just going to tell you what I thought of the movie. And then you should listen to a bunch of other people that also saw it early and start to put together a picture of what you think this movie is going to be like, and then make a decision if you're going to go and invest your time and money to go see it. And that's why I think film critics, and everybody thinks they sound cool. Film critics never get it right. 95% of the time, the audience score and the film critic score are always within the 1/5 margin of each other. So that's the most ridiculous, idiotic thing I've ever heard. But at any rate, and then there's the really stupid people like, film critics get paid off. I just don't know what words in the English language describe how stupid you are if you ever actually believe that film studios pay off film critics. I honestly, there's not a word that exists that describes how dumb you are if you actually think that. But anyway, but listen, so you made an informed choice, Garden Variety. You heard some people talk, including me, you heard some people talking about The Last Duel, and you just thought to yourself, you know what? I don't think that movie for me is worth my investment of my time and my money. And you know what? If I watch it, I'll just watch it at home. That was making an informed consumer decision. And I think that's great that you did that. I still like the movie myself. I do recommend people see it, but you got to make that decision for yourself. And you went out of your way to make sure you made an informed decision. I think that's great. All right. Next up, Jacob K writes, John, going off what was said yesterday with Luke's arc, I don't know what we're talking about. I personally liked it, but what ruined it for me was that a lot of his story was made out to be a joke. Thoughts? Also, when do you think Disney will announce The Last Duel 2? Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a Last Duel 2. I honestly don't know what we're talking about Luke's arc. I'm sorry, Jacob. I do not remember that conversation. Sorry about that, dude. All right, next up. Film Love and Bro writes, hey, John, it may help to have a contingency plan just in case. Consider using flavored ketchup, spicy, garlic, sriracha, or simply mix in some black pepper with the condiment. It could help it go down easier with those eggs. Nope. I said ketchup on eggs. If I lose this bet, I'm just taking straight ketchup, putting some of it on the eggs, and I'm going to consume it and try not to vomit. I'm going to take my medicine like a man. If I lose, I'm just going to take my medicine like a man and just put it on there and eat it. All right. Mike Garnett writes, hi, John and Co. Longtime viewer. Thank you so much for being here, Mike. First time tipper. Universal Studios dropped the prologue for Jurassic World Dominion online, and Colin Trevorrow mentioned it on IGN that it may be cut from the final film. Does it replace a teaser? What are your thoughts on it? Thanks. No, you're misunderstanding that, Mike. So you guys will remember that I can't remember how long ago it was, 6 months ago? I'm terrible with timing, but let's, for argument's sake, say 6 months ago, Jurassic World Dominion put out in front of IMAX this 5-minute prelude to Jurassic World Dominion, right? And it starts back in the prehistoric days, and then it fast forwards to modern day with people at a drive-in theater, and all of a sudden a T-Rex shows up and blah, 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 right? But they didn't allow it to go online. They only had it playing in front of IMAX screens. And this week, they actually finally released that spot online. But it is a prelude. They're not cutting it from the movie, Mike. It's not going to be in the movie. It's not meant to be in the movie. It's like, what was the name of that one? Guys in the live chat, help me out with this. What was the name of that short film they put out, like Jurassic World Battle at Big Rock? Was it Big Rock or Red Rock? I can't remember. But they made that separate from the movie. It's not meant to be a part of Jurassic World Dominion. It's just a separate little thing, a piece of marketing. This thing is the same. This is not a part of Jurassic World Dominion. It's not being cut from the movie. It was never meant to be in the movie. Guys are saying it was actually called Battle of Big Rock. Thank you, Paul, Angel, Dragon, and Michael for that. I appreciate it. Battle of Big Rock. So, yeah, it was never meant to be a part of a movie. It's its own standalone thing, so don't expect to see it in there. All right, next up. We have, where are we at here? Sergeant Ward writes, why do people care if Ridley Scott calls young people millennials? He probably doesn't know the right term. Even I forget what it is. Plus, if your movie bombed, wouldn't you seem bitter? Wouldn't you seem bitter and say stupid things like that? No. Guess what? I put out a movie called Movie Trailers: A Love Story. Now, I'm very fortunate that it did pretty well. But it didn't make $1 million, so whatever. It cost me like $15,000 to make it. So it didn't make $1 million or anything, but it did pretty well, so I'm happy. But if nobody saw it, I'm not going to get on my show and go, you know what it is? None of you appreciate the art of filmmaking. Because you're all just uneducated swine. You didn't appreciate, blah, blah. And I wouldn't blame the audience. I don't care that he called young people millennials. That's not the issue. The issue is he blames the audience for the financial failure of his film. He started pointing fingers at his consumers, at the audience. And that's just dumb. That's just really, really dumb. All right. Next up, Tupac fan writes, "Hey, John, I saw your comments about Ridley Scott. I, too, wanted to watch the movie. Huge history fan, and I know the story already. Even though reviews were good, was the thought having to watch the same rape scene twice. Maybe others felt the same as myself." Well, here's the thing, Tupac. We're talking still about Last Duel. I've heard some people say that, but that's simply not true. They never advertised that they were going to show the rape scene multiple times. That was never advertised. That was never part of the marketing. Nobody knew that. Nobody avoided going to see the movie because they didn't want to see the same rape scene 3 times. Because they never marketed it. That wasn't part of the marketing. They never told people that. I didn't know that going into the movie. So, no, that had nothing to do with this movie only making $4-point-something million on its opening weekend, which is still an astoundingly low number that I still can't wrap my head around. And listen, I like the movie. I think the movie's good. But anyway. All right, next up. Ryan Flume writes, "Hey, John. The first teaser for No Way Home became the most viewed trailer in the first 24 hours of all time by over 60 million. But nothing was released about the second trailer's view count. According to Wikipedia, it's not even in the top 10. Do you know why?" I think there might be a couple reasons for that. Number one, they may not have just calculated the overall numbers yet. So give it some time. But number two, I don't expect the second trailer to have as many views as the first trailer did. Because listen, Spider-Man No Way Home, all due respect to Shang-Chi, all due respect to Eternals, all due respect to Venom 2. Spider-Man No Way Home is the first major event film since the pandemic. It's the first major event film since the pandemic. Shang-Chi, yeah, a bunch of people were excited about it. Eternals, Fast 9, Venom 2, whatever. But this is the first that level of excitement kind of film that is coming out in since 2019. We haven't had an event film like this since Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker came out in 2019. We're almost in 2022. And so, yeah, when that trailer dropped, that first Spider-Man trailer, I mean, everybody was going to watch it. I mean, I didn't think it would break the record, but you knew it was going to be huge, right? Now, the second trailer, it's the second trailer. That big rush of our first look at this first new true world-class blockbuster movie is out. Well, that's done now. That's done. But I'll tell you what, they put out a Spider-Man trailer on Monday, November 29th, the day tickets go on sale. And they flash a little Andrew Garfield face. They flash a little Tobey Maguire face. That movie will wreck house. That trailer, I should say, will wreck house. That trailer will break all the records. Number one, that trailer will break the all-time view mark for trailers. That trailer will break the all-time view mark. Just tell you right now, it's not even a question. They put out a new trailer on Monday with tickets go on sale, and they show Andrew or Toby, or at least allude to them, or show their silhouettes, or show them in costume, whatever. That trailer will break all the records for trailer views. Number one. Number two, it's going to crash ticketing websites around the world because everybody's going to rush to get their tickets. You put out that trailer, show those guys, and say tickets on sale now at the end. It's going to break all the records. It's going to sell all the tickets. It's going to sell them all. I'm going to ask you right now. I'm going to put up a poll for those of you guys watching right now. Will they show Andrew and Toby in a new Spider-Man trailer on Monday. And a simple question for those of you guys watching live. I mean, you know what I think? I think they will. I don't know that they will. I don't guarantee they will. I wouldn't put money on it. I'm just saying, I think they will. So will they? I'm asking you guys in the live chat right now. The poll is up there right now. Will they show Toby and Andrew in a new trailer on Monday? So we'll see. All right, we got a little 100 responses already. 51%, so now a little over 200 responses. 51% of you are saying yes, they will. 49% of you are saying no, they won't. It's going to be close. It's close. Even the fans, we're not on the exact same page now. All right, now it's swung a little bit to the no side. It was 51% yes. Now it's 52% no. So it's going back and forth. It's a back and forth battle. It's totally close. We'll see how this one ends up. But so basically, we're all split on this. We're all basically split on this. Interesting to see. And right now we're approaching 300 votes, and we've got 52% are saying no, 48% are saying yes, so it's close. It's like Stephen Hughes in the live chat is saying, thank you everybody for participating in the poll. Stephen Hughes in the live chat is saying it's a 50-50 shot about whether they do it. I agree, 50-50, but I'm leaning towards it. I think they will. I think they will. So we'll find out. All right, next up. We go to Austin Valdez, who writes, hey, John, hope your day is swell. My day is swell. Thank you much for asking. With all the speculations from the No Way Home trailer, one scene in particular caught my attention. When Otto was asked about his name and cuts to laughter, could it be that it's actually another Peter Parker saying his name? Nah, I think that's not a possibility, to be honest with you. I've seen other people speculate that, and I've said the same thing. It's like, nope. I don't think that's at all. I think they're actually talking to Octavius there. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. We'll find out when the movie opens. All right. Me Dinkleberries writes, what's up? Do you think that Adam Brashear, aka Blue Marvel, will be introduced in Captain Marvel 2? Also, to the viewer who asked for a good theater in Chicago, check out the Icon on Roosevelt. I go to that one twice a week. Tell them Dinkleberries sent you, because somebody was writing in asking, John, what's a good movie theater recommendation in Chicago? And I'm like, I've been to Chicago once in my life, so I have no idea. But thank you for that recommendation, Dinkleberries. Since I don't know anything about the story of Captain Marvel 2, I have no idea. Now, I thought there was a chance that they would introduce Brashear in WandaVision. I thought there was a decent chance they would introduce him in WandaVision. That never happened. But look, if they're going to introduce him anywhere, because of his connection to Photon and everything, if they're going to introduce him anywhere, Captain Marvel 2 or The Marvels is a good place to do it. So let's see, man. All right, next up. Great Grapthar's Hammer writes, congrats on the PS5, John. I get it in 2 days, 3 days. 2 days. I get it in 2 days. I get my PS5 on Saturday. Been trying for like a year to get one. Anyway, congrats on the PS5, John. Just a tip. You may want to invest in an extra internal SSD drive. I absolutely will, as that 1 terabyte can go pretty quick. You can Google lists of compatible M.2 drives. Getting an external SSD just for PS4 games is also wise to free up space. Enjoy. I am definitely going to do that, man, and I'm definitely looking forward to get my hands on it. Thank you for the recommendation, Gapthar. I appreciate that, man. All right, next up. Shuvo, the good Canadian kid, writes, I am 42 years old and grumpy and totally understand where Ridley Scott is coming from. Since the advent of iPhone, my own attention span went down. However, I did see The Last Duel. Despite it being good, it just didn't have a wide appeal to be a hit. Now, look, here's the thing. I am not arguing with Ridley Scott that, we today don't have a shorter attention span and maybe we're all on our phones too much. I don't disagree with him with that. I think that's true. Even the new Matrix trailer kind of points that out. Like Neo gets on an elevator and he's just surrounded by everybody on their phones, right? Listen, it's true. We all spend way too much time on our phone. There's no doubt about that. We do. I'm not arguing with Ridley Scott about that. But to blame the audience for that was stupid. That was stupid. To blame the audience, that it's the audience's fault that this happened. Yeah, that was dumb. Whatever other social commentary he's making, I'm not saying I had any problem with that, because it's true. I mean, we all know that. We all know we spend too much time on our phones. But guess what? A lot of us still went to go see Venom 2. A lot of people still went to go see Venom 2, even though they're on their phones a lot. Well, the millennial doesn't want to be taught anything. You know what, Ridley? I'm going to stop you there, buddy. Just shut up. You're just digging yourself. Just stop. Just stop. Anyway, that's just me. All right, next up. Suthius writes, I like to remind you, it was me you reprimanded, even though I was being facetious with my comment. LOL, all in good fun, Mr. C. I didn't take it personal at all. I just laughed at the Ridley Scott topic the very next day. Seeing your reaction made my day. Yeah, so what happened was, like, Suthius wrote in about Ridley Scott's comments about comic book movies are fucking boring. And, you know, Suthius like, he's just a grumpy old man and blah, blah, blah. And I like reprimanded Suthius. I'm like, come on, Suthius. Let's not get into name calling him a grumpy old man. I mean, whatever. Yeah, it was a dumb thing for him to say, blah, blah, blah. But like 2 days later, Ridley Scott then follows up his tirade on comic book movies with blaming audiences for not going to see Last Duel. And I'm like, you know, I reprimanded Suthius the other day for calling him a grumpy old man, but holy shit, he really does kind of sound like a grumpy old man, doesn't he? So yeah, there was that. So thanks for following up on that, Suthius. Appreciate that. All right. Ben Rayner writes, hey, John and crew, love the new format. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. John, I finally saw Venom, Let There Be Carnage, 4.5 out of 5. And oh my God, I loved it. The best bro-com ever. Still not going to theaters. Now just waiting for Eternals. Can't wait for No Way Home. Hashtag 22 Tuesday. Bring on the filthy. Yeah, listen, I'm glad you liked it, Ben. And I am an unapologetic fan of the Venom movies. I think the Venom movies are fun. I have a really good time with those things. I mean, I think I preferred Venom 1 over Venom 2, but still, both of them, a good amount of people don't like them, and I respect that. I can understand why. Totally get it. Not going to get an argument from me. But as for me, I really like those movies. I am really entertained by them. I love the Eddie Venom dynamic and relationship. I think it's a lot of fun, so I'm glad you liked it too, man. I'm glad you liked it too. All right, next up. Najir writes, Have you heard anything that the plan is for Sony to take Spider-Man back, or is that just what you theorize? If he does go back, do you think there will be another trilogy? No, it is just what I theorize. Now, I believe there's been a lot of evidence over the last 2 years that have pointed to the fact that Sony is going to be taking Spider-Man back. And I won't bore you with all of them, but we've laid it out. That this happened 2 years ago, then this happened, and this happened, this happened. It all seems to point that Spider-Man's going back to Sony. We don't know that. Sony hasn't said that. Marvel hasn't said that. Anything could happen. He could totally still stay in the MCU. Absolutely he could. I'm just saying that I personally think that when you look at all the events that have happened and the way everything is structured, to me, it makes it look pretty clear like he's going back. But again, anything is still possible. And yes, if Sony does take him back, they'll absolutely make not just another trilogy. They'll probably want to make 7, 8, or 9 new Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland. So we'll see how that goes. All right. Next up, we got Miguel Zien, who writes, hey, John, been a while since I tipped in. That's cool. Thanks for being here, man. Anytime. I'm currently rewatching Villeneuve's films, and I saw Incendies for the first time. And wow, what a film and what an effing ending. Brilliant film. Have you seen it? Thoughts? What are your all faves, Denis Villeneuve's films? Thank you. That's one nobody saw. Now, it was nominated for... It got nominated for Best Foreign Language Film when it came out. I think it's like 10 years old now or something like that. Basically, the notion is that this girl's mother dies. And in her will, she lets her and her brother know that their father is still alive and that they have another sibling out there. And in her will, the mother sends both of them on this quest to go and find them. And she's got a reason for it. You don't know why. And so it's kind of this journey. The girl goes to the Middle East and all this kind of stuff. It's a wonderful, brilliant film. I think my favorite Denis film, though, is still Prisoners. Dune is right up there. But I think Prisoners might still be my favorite Villeneuve film. But that was a really good one. Just be warned, people, for people who want to go check it out, just be warned that Incendies is a foreign language film. You're going to have to do subtitles, and I know that doesn't work for everybody, but it is a really, really good movie. All right, next up, we got Austin F., who writes, "Hi, the John Campea Show crew, and today that's just me. Here's a suggestion for the No Way Home spoiler problem. This channel I watch doing a watch through of the MCU counters spoilers by asking some viewers to put in fake spoilers in the chat so they can't tell which spoilers are legit. Thoughts?" It's an interesting idea, but the reality is this. I think when people see a real spoiler, they'll be able to recognize it. I think that they'll be able to recognize it. So I think it muddies it a little bit, but it doesn't actually solve it. It's an interest. Look, at least you're thinking out of the box, Austin, because I don't know what the solution is, to be honest. At least you're coming up with some ideas. So thank you for that, dude. All right, next up. Jason and the Marvel Knots writes, "Hey, John. With the multiverse making anything possible, my friends were debating this. What would you put the odds at that No Way Home breaking the biggest Spider-Man taboo and bringing back Uncle Ben, not via flashback, for a heart-to-heart with Peter?" Listen, that is a possibility. We talked about that the other day, that in this Multiverse of Madness thing, all of a sudden, Peter's Uncle Ben, who we have never met in this universe, actually is returned to him. It seems like forcing too much in. So I'm going to say the chances are around 15%. Not zero. I'll give it 15% that maybe something like that can happen. All right, next up. Tom Gillard writes, "As a millennial with a phone who saw The Last Duel and liked it, I think the subject matter turned a lot of people off. But Ridley's comments have turned me off from going to see House of Gucci. I'll watch it on my phone later just for Ridley." I agree, guys, that what he said was stupid. But look, everybody's acting like, and maybe even I'm acting like, maybe I'm guilty of this too. Everybody's acting like there's video footage of Ridley Scott that just came out of him punching a child in the face. All right? Ridley Scott didn't go up and punch a child in the face. Ridley Scott didn't go to a woman's shelter and steal all the money from their office. Ridley Scott wasn't caught on film going to a grade school and handing out packages of crystal meth to children. He said something stupid. And it was stupid. And it was dumb. And it was idiotic. Blaming the audience for the failure of his film. Yeah, but come on. It's not like he went up to, like, you know, a puppy on the sidewalk that was wagging his tail and then he curb stomped the puppy until it stopped wagging its tail. It's not like he did something like that. He said something dumb. And I am in full agreement that it was idiotic. I would encourage you, though, is that really all it takes? Is that all it takes? Like, it's not, it came out and said, yeah. It's not like Ridley Scott was being interviewed and said, "Hey, Ridley Scott, what do you think about pineapple on pizza?" "Oh, I hate pineapple on pizza. The only thing I hate more than pineapple on pizza is people from Brazil." Like, it's not like, then that might be more extreme. The only thing I hate more than pineapple on pizza is people from Brazil. Yeah, okay, that would be another step forward. But what did he say? He said something stupid, like, "I blame the audience for the failure of my movie." It was dumb. It was idiotic. But is that all it takes for us to go, I'm not going to go watch his movies anymore? I don't know. I'd like to think that we as an audience has got a little bit more of a thicker skin than that. Maybe a little bit more of a thicker skin. I don't know. But listen, Tom, bottom line is you got to choose what movies you want to see and how you want to see them. And I respect your decision. I do. I'm just saying, is that all it takes for us to go, I'm not going to go watch him? I don't know. Maybe I'll feel differently about it in a few weeks. I don't know. Anyway, dude, thank you for sharing your opinion on it. I appreciate that, man. All right. Next up. Sam Weiser Gamgee writes, "Hey, John, Kimberly and Ray," and obviously Kimberly and Ray aren't here right now. Devil's advocate time here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but as of this writing, no formal charges have been brought against Armie Hammer. Shouldn't Disney have just released Death on the Nile months ago and just said, we're aware of certain unfounded accusations against Mr. Hammer, but until formal charges are brought, we will support Kenneth Branagh and Mr. Hammer's film. I really think Disney would have weathered the storm. What say all of you? Thanks, and bring on the filthy. Nope. 1,000 times nope. A million times, nope. Listen, what Armie Hammer is being accused of is not, listen, Armie Hammer didn't come out and say, I blame the audience for the failure of my last film. And we're not going to go into all of it, but you know what it is Armie Hammer's being accused of from a number of people. And we are not talking about Armie Hammer should go to jail. No. You got to go. You got to do due process. You got to go to court. You got to do all that legal stuff you got to do. But you as a company, you've got to decide if you want your name, the name of your company, to be associated with that scandal. Because this affects your bottom line. Look, it's a business. This is a business. And putting out a movie right now with Armie Hammer is bad business. I don't care about anything else. Nothing else. If from a pure business point of view, it is bad business to put out a movie with Armie Hammer in it right now. And that may be fair and it may be unfair, but guess what? Numbers are emotionless. Numbers don't care. And some pretty serious shit that they're doing. And Disney, that kind of touts itself as a family-friendly brand. I mean, they're trying to expand that a bit too, but as a family-friendly brand. And it's not like this is just some Gus's gas station movie who stopped fart, just like kind of leaked a rumor that Armie. There's some pretty serious shit. And listen, I say this as a guy who's been a big fan of Armie Hammer. And I'm not saying he's guilty, but I'm just saying if you're Disney and those sorts of serious allegations are going around and there are legal investigations going on, you can't just put out a movie with him starring in it right now. You just can't. You can't. It's not Disney's responsibility to stand up for Armie Hammer. Disney doesn't, nor should they give a shit about Armie Hammer. They should care about their project. And is it good for us or bad for us to release this project right now? They have no responsibility to Armie Hammer or anybody else. They have a responsibility to their project and what's good for business. And you just can't do it. That's bad business right now. So no. And I would say to this to you, Sam Weiser, you may say that now, but if it was your money on the line, you wouldn't do it either. If you thought it could hurt your business. And listen, I am hoping beyond hope. Because like I said, I like Armie Hammer. I've been a fan of Armie Hammer ever since I saw him in The Social Network. Right? Ever since I saw him in the Social Network, I've been a big fan of Armie Hammer. I'm even going to see, I'll tell you what, I'll even show this if I can find it. I may have shown this before. I'm not 100% sure if I have. But I will tell you right now, I am going to keep my fingers crossed and hope beyond hope that once the investigations are all done and everything and a whole bunch of stuff comes out, that it turns out that Armie Hammer didn't do anything and that Armie Hammer gets totally cleared and all this kind of stuff. This is me with Armie. This is the first time I've met Armie Hammer a couple of times. I think this was the first time I ever met Armie Hammer. And he was super nice, super gracious, has been every time that I met him. All I can say is that my experiences with Armie Hammer have always been good experiences. I've always had good experiences with Armie Hammer the couple of times I've had a chance to meet and talk to him. So I will hope beyond hope that when this all gets settled and the investigations are done, I'm going to hope that he gets totally vindicated. That's what I'm going to hope. But until then, I'm not releasing a movie with him in it. Not until this gets settled. It's just bad business. Once the dust settles, the smoke clears, if everything turns out the way I'm hoping it's going to turn out, great. Then release Death on the Nile. It'll sit. It's fine, sitting on a shelf somewhere. It'll be fine. But until that happens, I'm not putting out a movie with him in it. As much as I like him, I'm not putting out a movie with him in it until this gets cleared up. All right. Next up. Let's see here. Where are we at? Dangerous D writes, "Hey, John. Did you see the trailer for Pam and Tommy? Yeah, we talked about it on the show the other day on Hulu. It centers on the sex tape. Lily James's is unrecognizable as Pamela Anderson in this. Is probably the raunchiest role she has done, given the subject matter. Sebastian Stan looks like Tommy Lee. You like the trailer? Yeah, we talked about it on the show the other day, Dangerous D. I thought the trailer was great. I cannot wait to watch this. And yeah, Lily James, say it with me. Lily James. Lily James looks amazing in it. She's a terrific actress. Sebastian Stan, I never thought I'd see him in a role like that. I'm very curious to watch this thing very much. All right, next up, Nate writes, John, I recently had some medical issues come up that made me change careers. I'm sorry to hear that, Nate. I wanted to thank you for the podcast so I can listen to it when I'm at work. Today is my birthday, and I'm going to celebrate by going to see House of Gucci. Thank you so much. Well, happy belated birthday to you, Nate. I hope you had a fantastic day and a fantastic year ahead of you. And thank you so much for bringing the John Campea podcast along with you to work. I appreciate that very much. It's an honor, man. And again, I hope you had a great birthday, dude. All right, Scott Brown writes, I saw Afterlife, Ghostbusters Afterlife, and I really enjoyed it. The ending really got me, and McKenna Grace, she's so good as a young actress, was awesome. Between this and Handmaid's Tale, dude, how good is she in Handmaid's Tale? That little frickin' psycho. Oh my God, I love that character in Handmaid's Tale. Anyway, between this and Handmaid's Tale, she's becoming a very special performer. But I thought this was a very good love letter and send off to the original cast, A+. I'm glad, yeah, again, I really enjoyed Afterlife. Certainly much more. And I didn't hate the 2016. I know it's the cool thing to bash on the 2016 Ghostbusters. I know that's the cool thing to do. But I didn't hate the 2016 Ghostbusters. I don't think it was particularly good, but I didn't hate it. I thought it had some redeeming qualities, but this is definitely a much, much better movie. Much better movie. I'm glad you liked it, Scott. All right. And McKenna Grace is fantastic in it. All right, just a couple more here, guys. We got Scott Brown who writes, you're right about High Republic. No one talks about it. Not one character, not one storyline, nothing. Versus Lost Stars and Lords of the Sith, they were talked about for a long time. High Republic has been a complete failure with books and comics. It's time to scrap it. Well, I mean, I will say this, Scott. To me, it has been dead silent. Like when Lost Stars came out, Claudia Gray's Lost Stars, and when Lords of the Sith came out, which I think might be my favorite Star Wars novel, Lords of the Sith, or it's Lords of the Sith or Lost Stars. I mean, they're both great, but I'll lean towards Lords of the Sith for now. These are two incredible books. And people were talking about it. People were writing in, talking about it, and continued to talk about it for some time after they came out. I mean, not as much as they were talking about the movies per se, but I mean, we're getting people writing in. The High Republic stuff started coming out, and I couldn't tell you the last time I heard anybody write to me and ask about it, or talk about it, or mention it, or bring it up as a topic of conversation. I just can't remember the last time. Now, I did the first book, and it's not bad. It's actually all right, but I never felt like there are some books I've read and some shows that I've watched where, like, as soon as I'm done that book, or as soon as I'm done that first episode, I'm like, where's the next book? Where's the next book? Or when's the next episode coming out, right? I never felt that with High Republic, and I just haven't felt it now. But that being said, I don't know if it's time to scrap it yet. They put a lot of planning into this. Let's give them a little bit more of a chance to see where it goes. But yeah, right now they're not off to a great start. I don't think it's off to a great start. Thanks for that, Scott. Next up, Scott Brown also writes, Star Wars movie franchise is in trouble. Let me just address that first. Really? Show me one shred of proof that the Star Wars movie franchises are in trouble. You can't. Want to know why? Every single one of the movies has made $1 billion or more. Do you know the Star Wars movies under Kathleen Kennedy have a higher per movie box office rate than Kevin Feige's MCU movies do? It's true. And you can scramble and come up with excuses for that all you want, but that's the bottom line truth. Now, I say that as somebody who's very frustrated with Kathleen Kennedy's leadership of Lucasfilm. I say that as somebody who completely hates Rise of Skywalker. But the truth is, the Star Wars movies released under Kathleen Kennedy have a higher box office average than even Kevin Feige's MCU movies do. It's just the truth. It's just the truth. And despite Rise of Skywalker being so terrible, and despite the fact that the Last Jedi was so divisive, these movies all make over $1 billion. Tell me again how these things are in trouble. Because there's no practical evidence of that. And you know me, I say that as a critic. I say that as somebody who's been pretty negative about, the way Kathleen Kennedy has led that ship over there. But the reality is this: you may not like the films, you may blah, 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 but bottom line, the last one that came out, which is probably the worst one they did, still made over $1 billion. Tell me again how they're in trouble. I'd love to be in that kind of trouble. I would love the John Campea Show to be in that kind of trouble. Oh, the John Campea Show's in so much trouble. Only made $1 billion last year. Oh no. I would love that kind of trouble. I mean, we can talk about, but certain fans don't like. Hey, listen, I don't disagree. But even at their worst, they're making more money than Kevin Feige's MCU films are. So let's tuck away this chat. I mean, look, I have big concerns about Lucasfilm right now, and I have big concerns about Star Wars, particularly under Kathleen Kennedy's leadership. She's one of the greatest producers of all time. She's a first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt, but she has not done, in my opinion, a good job of shepherding Lucasfilm. Love her. I think she's got a lot of talent. I think she's one of the greatest producers of all time, but she has not done a good job shepherding this company, in my opinion. But you can't tell me they're in trouble. Not when they're making billions of dollars. Anyway, let's get to the rest of what Scott was saying. Star Wars movie franchises are in trouble. Not really. Besides the Disney Plus series, it seems like no one cares because there's so much distrust in the movies going to be good or even happen. There's been so much turnover. They really need to get their shit together. On that, I completely agree. They absolutely need to get their shit together. All the stuff about all these projects then it's smelling a lot like DC movies a few years ago. Like all these things announced, now none of it's happening. Like with all the creative differences and all that, like it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So on that, I mean, I disagree with you completely. Star Wars is not in trouble, but I completely agree. That is a house in disarray, and they need to get their shit together. Because while they are clearly not in trouble now, they're not far away from being in trouble if they continue on in such chaos and not getting their shit together. So let's see where they go with that. All right. Last question of the day gets sent. Then we'll move on and take the comments you guys have been firing in. Island Boy writes in, "Hey, John, just watched your right out of the theater review of House of Gucci. You stated that the third act was a drag. Well, it wasn't a drag. It dragged. The third act really dragged a lot. It wasn't a drag. Anyway, I've actually heard you and many others speak about third acts of movies in general falling flat. What makes a third act so difficult to pull off? It's easy. Sticking the landing is always the hardest part. Look at something like Lost. You come up with this great concept. That's not the hard part. The hard part is coming up with a great concept, which Lost was. Lost was an amazing concept. But then how do you bring it all to conclusion in a satisfying way? That's always the trick, man. Nailing the landing is always the hardest part. I've seen a lot of movies that start off with a great premise, but then they just didn't know how to wrap it up. House of Gucci to me was kind of like that. It just like the first 2 hours, let me rephrase that. The first 2 acts of the movie just sing. Like absolutely sing. I loved House of Gucci during the first 2 acts. But then they just didn't know how to bring it home, it felt like. They got into the third act and it just dragged. Like it lacked all pace. Everything got so slow. And I stopped caring. They started throwing in a lot of scenes that really didn't need to be a part of the movie. It was it was so different from the first 2 acts of the film. But that's the thing. And the thing is, Ridley Scott knows how to do a third act. You watch the third act of Gladiator. You watch the third act of The Martian. Ridley Scott knows how to handle a third act. But with House of Gucci, it just became it became a labor trying to get through it. It really did. It became a labor trying to get through it. All right, that's it for all the questions today, guys. Now let's spend the rest of our time taking the live comments you guys have been firing in as we've been doing this show about any or all the topics that we've been discussing here today. I'm going to leave the super chat open for the next 2 to 3 minutes, so if you still want to fire in a thought or an opinion about one of the things we just talked about, you still got like 2 minutes left to do it. But for now, let's get over and see what you guys have been firing in the live chat for those of you guys watching live. We're going to start off with Elliot Wizard, who writes, what is the thing with this holiday? Here in Sweden, we do not have it. Just wondering. Look, instead of me going into a big history lesson, and again, this is not the place to ask questions. Best thing to do is hop online, search American Thanksgiving, and that'll give you all the background of that. But I can understand, Elliot, for people who don't live here, what's the big deal about Thanksgiving? Why is it a big holiday there? Best thing to do is go and look that up. All right. Kick It to the King Productions writes, turkey equals dried meat. I hate turkey. Dream Thanksgiving is fried chicken. Tenderloin, Alfredo, and Red Lobster biscuits. We all hardly eat turkey. #facts. You know what? I love turkey on Thanksgiving, but I am a dark meat guy. Because I agree, white meat on turkey tends to come across on the dry side. That's why I like dark meat. But you give me a plate of dark meat turkey with my mom's stuffing and smother the hell out of it with gravy. That's a good day for me, boys. That's a good day for me. All right, next up, Mike Hill writes, I wish we celebrated Thanksgiving here in the UK, but thank you for doing the show for us, John. You and your show is one of the best parts of my day. Well, thank you so much for that, Mike. And look, I knew we weren't going to have our crew here. I knew most people were going to be off doing family things today, but I still thought it would be fun for us to do a show today. So thank you for being here and joining us, Mike. Jay Studdert writes, 1 of 4. Hey, John, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much, Stefan. Or sorry, Jay Student. Jay Student. Stefan's 1 of 4. We'll get to him in a minute. Hey, John, I've been watching for about a week and a half now since Kim and Ray joined. I've been able to make every live stream. Love your content. Well, thank you for being here, JS. I appreciate that, man. Thanks for being a new member of our community. And you came in at a good time. I love having Ray and Kim on the show. I love having them here. Now, I'm not going to lie. I miss doing shows like with Rob and Aaron will be back. But again, Aaron and Tom just had a baby, so Aaron will be back. We got to give her some time, though, with the new baby. But I'll tell you what, I've loved doing the shows with Ray and Kim. And you got to understand, Ray and Kim are not replacing Rob. I mean, you can't replace Rob's kind of insight and stuff like that. They're not here to be the new commentators. Ray is here to be here in the studio, just give a little bit of personality to the show, interact with you guys live in the live chat while we're doing the show. And then, you know, he's on camera maybe 5% of the show, right? So he's not here to be a Rob replacement. He's here to do something completely different. And then Kim is here because my throat's killing me right now because we've been going for, an hour and 45 minutes and my voice is almost gone, but Kim is here because she adds more personality to the show. She reads all the questions from you guys and all the topics and stuff like that, which gives me a break on my voice. And then she'll throw in a few comments here and there, which I think brings a lot of life to the show. I think she's great. But yeah, it's a different format. Now, I will let you guys know who are watching here on Thanksgiving that while I am not going to do remote guests anymore, because listen, I have just had nightmares. You guys don't know all the technical issues that we've had trying to Skype in and bring in guests that way, like everything from audio problems, visual problems, delay problems, just not connecting at all. It's a freaking nightmare. But on top of that, you guys can just probably tell that there's a different energy level when you're all in the same room together. But while I will not be bringing in full show guests via Skype and stuff like that anymore, what I will do is what I used to do back in the early John Campea Show days. And something like what PTI does, where let's say there's one issue going on. Let's say there's a Star Wars topic. Well, what I might do is the night before, I might get Harloff on Skype and record a quick 5-minute thing with Harloff. And then as we're talking about the Star Wars thing the next day on the show, I'll say, you know what, guys, I thought we'd bring in another good Star Wars voice on this. So I got on the line and talked to our friend Christian Harloff and got his opinion about this new Star Wars news. Here's that conversation. And then maybe play that 5-minute conversation. So that's going to be a way moving forward that I can still bring in guys like Greg Alba or Rob or, maybe Dan Merle or Christian Harloff or whatever, that I'll still be able to bring them in from time to time, but only bring them in for like short little interview spots that I pre-record. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. All right. Let's see. Who's next? Next up, we've got, I lost my place. Oh, now we're at Stefan. And Stefan writes, 1 of 4. Hey, John, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you. Saw Encanto yesterday. I think I'm going to go see it tonight. And it's so much more than a funny animated movie with nice music and songs. The movie tackles such issues as self-image, performance anxiety, meeting expectations, and keeping up appearances for the outside world. As somebody who struggles with all these topics in daily life, Encanto hit me hard on an emotional level. After the movie ended, I left the theater with tears in my eyes and a big smile on my face. Ain't it magical? I'll tell you what, Stephen. The reactions I've been hearing from people over Encanto are reminding me of the reactions people had coming out of seeing, why am I forgetting the name of the movie? The one with Day of the Dead and the kid playing guitar and Day of the Dead. Why am I freezing on the name of the movie? It's fantastic. Guys in the live chat. Coco, thank you. Calvin, Patel, Jay, Justine, Jimmy, everybody's firing it out. Yes, Coco. Why was I freezing on the name of Coco? Anyway, the reactions I'm hearing coming out of Encanto are the same kinds of reactions I heard people having and the kind of reactions I had coming out of Coco. Coco is magical, by the way. If you haven't seen Coco, go watch it. But I'm hearing great things about Encanto. I'm hoping tonight, after some football later tonight, I'm going to get a chance to run over the theater to watch it. All right. Next up, we've got Elijah, who writes, Arcane is far better than it has any right being. I completely agree, dude. Do you plan on doing a spoiler discussion for it? Nope, too late. Too late. I will only do spoiler discussions if I could do it like within 48 hours, 72 hours of when it comes out. It's too late for me to do a spoiler discussion of Arcane. But I'll tell you what, if they do a season 2 of Arcane, I will be doing weekly post-game shows on it. Once week 2 of Arcane comes out, I am definitely going to be doing post-game shows for it. 100%. All right. Next up, we got Toshi Victor, who writes, just saw House of Gucci and I liked it, but I had a problem with Leto's character. He was really annoying to me and his accent was terrible. Thanks. I'll tell you what, I loved his character. And yes, he was annoying, but apparently that was kind of how the dude was. That's the whole thing. I think that's how he was. I think that's how Paolo Gucci was. So yeah, I didn't, even as an Italian, I thought it was great. I mean, that's just me, but thanks for sharing your experience with it, Toshi. All right, next up, Jared McBride writes, happy Thanksgiving, John. Have a great day with friends and family. Thank you so much, Jared. Happy Thanksgiving to you, and I hope you have a good day with friends and family as well, man. Actually, I think I've already got some family showing up. All right, Unintended Studios, I like that name, writes, why is this show getting all the attention of Netflix doing a weekly let me try this again. Why is this show, I'm assuming you mean Arcane, getting all the attention of Netflix doing a weekly show when they have others that do it too? Comey Can't Communicate, for example. Never heard of it. Yeah, like we have talked about before that Netflix has begun experimenting with something. Like I think there's a cooking show. Guys in the live chat, if you know what it is, throw it in there. But I think there's some British cooking show of some sorts that Netflix will put out on a week-to-week basis. They've experimented with it with a couple of projects before. But like this Comey Can't Communicate. I've never even heard of it. I've never even heard of it. So I can't speak for it. For all I know, it's a great show. For all I know, it's a terrible show. Oh, Dragon J Gaming is saying it's the Great British Bake Off. Okay, is that what it is? Yeah, and then Justine is also the British Bake Off. So is Paul. Thank you for that, guys. Appreciate that. So they have before begun experimenting with this model, right? But yeah, Arcane is getting the attention, number one, because it's a great show. But number two, when you look at those numbers, from when it debuted to when the final episode came out, the global demand for the show grew over 620%. You put out a quality show on a week-to-week thing, you will reap benefits. So I think that's probably why. Again, I've never even heard of Comey Can't Communicate, so that's probably why unintended. All right, next up. Taylor Haywood writes, do you think Chris Evans is coming back as Captain America in No Way Home? No. I think Chris Evans is coming back as Captain America. I've believed that for a long time. Might not be this year, might not be next year, might not even be within the next 3 years, but he is coming back. But I don't think it'll be in No Way Home. I don't think it'll be there. It would be awesome if he was, though. All right, so I'll tell you this right now. Unpopular opinion. I would get more excited about Chris Evans showing up as Steve Rogers in Spider-Man No Way Home than I would for Peter or Andrew showing up. True. It's true. It's true. It's damn true. A little Kurt Angle there for you guys. Yeah, I would be more excited about him showing up than Peter and than Toby and Andrew showing up. That's just me, though. I'm not saying other people would. I'm just saying that's me. All right. Next up. Mr. Hank Dunn writes, the Chucky show is the best show on network TV. I'm glad you think so. I'm not hearing the same thing from other people, but if you love it that much, that is awesome. I'm glad to hear it. I haven't watched it yet myself. My Comic Planet just sends in a $20 super chat badge just to be supportive. Thank you, My Comic Planet. Appreciate that a lot, man. All right. Like very much, dude. That's very nice of you. Next up, Brian Learns Stuff. I love that username. Writes, bold prediction time. The Statue of Liberty scene in the trailers for New Way Home is Act 2. I don't even think we've seen anything from Act 2 yet. You probably mean Act 3 yet. And then you repeated it. Yeah, but put in Act 3. Bold prediction time. The Statue of Liberty scene in the trailer for No Way Home is Act 2. I don't think we've even seen anything from Act 3. Listen, Brian, I mentioned that the other day. Like, everybody's assuming that big battle where Lizard gets punched by somebody that's invisible in the face, everybody's assuming that's like the big final battle. I think there's a very good chance that's not the final battle of the movie. I think there's a very decent chance that is not the third act of the film. That it could very well be in Act 2. So listen, Brian, I'm not predicting that's Act 2, but I think absolutely that is a very, very strong possibility that they haven't even begun to show us anything from the third act of the film yet. Maybe they will on the 29th when they drop a new trailer. I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. All right. Danny Gavin writes, speaking about Arcane, what did you think about the story arc of Vi and Jinx? It was brilliant. It was fantastic. It's the heart of the whole movie anyway, or the whole show. I don't play LOL, but I ended up bawling my eyes out. It's fantastic. Listen, I don't play League of Legends either. I've got it on my computer. I've never played it though. Never played League of Legends. I don't know anything about League of Legends. Not the slightest thing. Well, I know what kind of game it is, but story-wise, I know nothing about League of Legends. And I thought this show is the best animated series I've ever seen. And yeah, the heart of the show is the story of Powder, aka Jinx, and Vi. And it's, by the way, another Haley Steinfeld thing. I mean, she's just everywhere right now. But yeah, I thought it was fantastic, man. The Kosan writes, since you were at the game yesterday, favorite Leaf growing up and favorite active player? Well, favorite Leaf growing up has got to be former captain, the first Toronto Maple Leaf to score 50 goals in a season, number 22, Rick Vive. Rick Vive, I mean, the stereotypical thing is to say like your favorite Leaf of all time was maybe like Daryl Sittler, number 27, still holds the NHL record for most points in a game. It's one of the only records that Wayne Gretzky doesn't hold. Daryl Sittler got 10 points in one game. 10 points in a game. If somebody gets 4 points in a game, it's considered a career game. 4 or 5 points in a game is considered a career game. Daryl Sittler scored 10 points in one game. But yeah, for me growing up, it was Rick Vive. He played on a line with, here's some throwback names. He played on a line with him on the wing, Wilf Paymont, the only other number 99. I think Wilf Paymont was the last guy to wear number 99 in the NHL before Wayne Gretzky. And now no one will ever wear 99 again. But I think Wilf Paymont wore number 99. on the other wing, and Bill Lego. A player by the name of Bill Lego was the center. And the Toronto Maple Leafs were terrible, but I loved watching them. But Rick Vive, man, him and Mike Bossy. Rick Vive and Mike Bossy had the most lethal shot. I remember at the time watching as a kid. They would get a pass cross ice from either Paymont, maybe Ian Turnbull or Boreas Salming back on the blue line, or whatever, would give him a cross ice pass on the wing, and he just crossed the blue line. And Mike Bossy used to do this all the time too. Barely get over the blue line, cock it up, and just rip it. I saw Bossy and Vive score more goals that way. So that was my favorite guy. Currently, obviously, is Austin Matthews. Austin Matthews is my favorite guy on the Leafs right now. It was so fun going to see him play last night. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. All right. Let's see. Next up, that was the Kosan. Thanks for asking me about the Leafs, fan. Not many people do. All right. John Farag writes, John, happy real Thanksgiving. 19 out of 20 times our tastes are aligned. We disagree on Hawkeye. It's great. Also, we disagree on Nickelback. Yeah, so look, on the Hawkeye thing, I don't hate Hawkeye. Okay, I don't hate Hawkeye. I think there are a couple of good elements to it. I like Hawkeye struggling with his physical and mental trauma. I love the relationship between him and his kids. I ate that stuff up. I really liked the part when he went to the LARPing thing. I thought that was really fun. My big struggle with Hawkeye is that I just don't think Haley's character is all that interesting. I don't think she's likable. She's not particularly intelligent. She's not very smart. She's not all that capable. And I just find her to be kind of annoying. I find her to be more of an annoying character than anything else. And it's really difficult to really get into a show when you don't like the main character. And unfortunately, the main character of Hawkeye isn't Hawkeye. It's her. And I don't think she's a particularly good character right now. And I don't know, we'll see. I hope I change my mind. But, we'll see. All right, next up, Ben Rayner writes, I have a hot take. The series finale of Lost is my all-time favorite series finale. Really? And Lost is my second favorite TV show of all time, 5 out of 5. Listen, Lost is like one of the most popular, culture-wide, attention-grabbing shows. Most people, I admit, including me, weren't all that thrilled with last season and how they brought it to resolution. But hey, man, it's all subjective. And for you, it worked, and you loved it, and that's the only thing that matters, brother. All right. Last question of the day, guys. Then we're going to wrap up this very informal, laid-back Thanksgiving Day episode of the John Campea Show. Sneaker Bros Podcast writes, love you, John and Co. Thank you so much, man. Welcome to the Tesla family. Quick tip. Baby wipes on the leather seats works wonders. Yeah, we've been told that. So for those of you who don't know, I recently bought Anne a Tesla. Her car was getting on 12 years old and was hitting 200,000 miles. So we needed a new car, and we had decided we wanted the new car to be electric. And we were looking at other electric cars, but we eventually landed on the Tesla. We got the Tesla Model Y. I love this car. The hype is real. The hype is absolutely real. I've never been in a more powerful car. Like, I've never been in a car where you just touch the accelerator and your back presses into your seat. I've never had that kind of acceleration and power in a car before. Never felt it. It handles like a dream. The technology in it's insane. Like, just driving back from LA last night, having watched the Leafs game, and then just hitting the autopilot button. Well, it's amazing. Having a long drive and being able to just pop on autopilot is insane. It's so good. It's spacious. It's the best sound system I've ever heard in a car. And it really isn't that expensive. So yeah, I have damn loved that Tesla, man. I'm actually thinking about getting one for myself. Can't really afford to buy a second one, but man, I think the next one I get, I might get a Tesla too. But I mean, I'm telling you, man, the hype is real. And I love not having to go to a gas station. We just get home, plug it in, It's always good to go. We got 320 miles of range on it, which is great. It's about as much as I get in my Toyota CHR, and I love my Toyota CHR. But, man, I got to tell you, that Tesla's pretty damn sweet. It really is. All right, guys, listen, that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you guys so much for being here and being a part of our day. Guys, again, for those of you who are my American friends, happy Thanksgiving to you. May it be a great day just hanging out with friends and family, being thankful for the things that we have and all that kind of stuff, and the things that for the people in our lives and all that kind of stuff. To all of my international friends, thank you for joining us here today. We will be back to a regular John Campea Show tomorrow. So we'll have our regular format tomorrow. Ray and, of course, Kim will be back tomorrow as well. And so big thank you to all you guys who sent in those questions and comments. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported our channel as you did it. And all of us involved with the John Campea Show, thank you guys so much for that support. All right, guys, that'll do it for me. Thanks a lot for being here. My name's John Campea. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.